digitized live in a room adjacent to my bathroom in Studio 1B in Cape Coral, Florida. It's the not so new Waterman and D-Train show. I'm your co-host D-Train, and ladies and gentlemen, it's the driver of the El Camino, one Dave the Waterman.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Waterman and D-Train show. Yeah, bro. Back, feeling good, man. Feeling real good tonight. How are you feeling, D-Train?
Good. How are you, man? It's been a while. Life has been getting in our way.
Yes, it has, man. Has life not been getting in our way or what, man? I'm telling you, I feel a sense of normalcy right now. You know? It's because
we're in our padded cell.
Yeah, we are.
I just realized that this room has so much padding on the walls that it's essentially our padded cell.
Yes.
You and I have both talked off the air that this has become very therapeutic for the both of us.
Oh, man.
We just talk without getting charged $100 an hour by some dick from a college with a degree that I've never heard of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so instead, we put it out there in the internet. And for our 5 friends, the OG5 to listen to.
You're damn right. The OG5. I gotta tell you, man, you know, I look forward to seeing you, man, because you spend so much time. And I don't know how many people out there, you know, spend time with their family. I like my family. I think they're cool people.
Do they like you?
Probably not.
Still out the jury?
That is definitely very questionable. And I have been spending an over-the-top amount of time with them. And, you know, it's like you get to know somebody and then you don't hang out with them so much. And then when you go to hang out with them again, and let's say a decade goes by, how much a person changes in 10 years is amazing.
Why? Who'd you run back into?
Well, no, it's not just that I've ran back into somebody. It's the philosophy on their life and what they've done, you know? Like, per se. And you know what? This show's open for me, man. All right? And the reason I'm gonna say this is because I'm sick and tired of this crap that's been going on, especially with me. Now, I can't get into a whole lot about it, but I've been in transition, okay? Now,
wait a minute, hold on. This is 2018.
Yeah.
Transitioning has a whole new definition nowadays. You need to be very damn clear about what. Are you pre-op or post-op?
No, hell no. That's one thing, bro. I'm not down with all that, man. No, what it is residences. Okay, I've had to relocate in the city of Cape Coral, and now you've seen my house, D-Train, the old place.
Yep.
Okay, 4.5 car garage.
Never been inside. I've been in your garage, but I've never been inside the house.
Well, the garage is where it's at, bro. I mean, the rest of the house is just, it's a home, man. You know, your standard bedrooms and bathrooms and all that jazz, kitchen. But my garage is where it's at. Now, I have gone from a 4.5, almost 5 car garage to a shallow weld 2-car and a half garage and rooms. The rooms in that home are smaller than this room. Put it to you that way. And we're in what? Let's say, what is this? Like a 12 by 12? What do you think?
Maybe 12 by 8. I think it's wider than one way. I don't know. Maybe 12 by 12. I don't know. We can get the tape on it if it means that much to you. But
no, it doesn't mean that much. But I'm just kind of giving the listener an idea. So the rooms in this house are super small, and I'm looking around at the new place, and I'm going, my God, man, how in the world am I gonna get all this stuff into this home? And then I'm looking at the garage, and I'm going, bro, I've got, cherry pickers and engine blocks and headers and boxes and boxes and boxes. Now, I've opened boxes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we have talked about this on the show before. It's amazing how much stuff you accumulate.
Yep.
Now I've seen things that probably hadn't been looked at since 1979, man. You know, boxes that I've opened up and I'm going, what in the world? You know, I don't need this stuff. What do I need this stuff for? Perfect example. I have got a old school stereo dynamic microphone.
Okay.
You know, it's like a dictaphone, whatever they call it. You know, a little small one for interviewing people. This thing is probably, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, 3 inches long. But according to my father, we must save that. That will come into use one day. And why do we have to save it? Because it's not a mono mic. It's got 2 plugs. That is a stereo mic, son. We must save that. There's no.
But what media does it record onto?
You can plug it into. You could plug it into a like a Sony Walkman.
Okay, so
or something of that
nature. It has
nature,
no relevance as far as digital recording. You basically would have to record it to an analog source and then put that medium in a player.
Right.
Hook the player into an input device to digitize.
Yes.
Or you can just use your phone.
Boom.
And throw the damn thing away.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Now I've got boxes and boxes of this stuff. Now, I'm pissed. I'm pissed because every single damn thing I've had to take apart. Now, if there's something with a 5-cent C-clamp, you know, or I don't even know. I can't even think of the damn name of them right now.
Binder clip?
Yeah, like a binder clip, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was on a hose. The hose is rotten. But you know what? By God, we got to have that binder clip. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go spend 10, 15 minutes wasting our time digging through a box because everything's been torn down now to find a X-Acto knife.
So you can cut the hose in
So we
half.
can cut the hose off to get the damn binder clip. And I'm going, are you effing kidding me, man?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Leave it, bro.
Well, I mean, and you were telling me the chosen mode of transportation for moving your home.
Oh.
And you guys decided, for one reason or another, to basically use a small utility trailer that one would use when very first starting their own lawn care business.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're not talking riding lawnmower. We're talking 2 push mowers and a handful of weed eaters.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know how I know how big his trailer is? Because I saw your brother pulling an engine block down Santa Barbara.
Did you?
Yeah, this morning?
Yesterday? That was yesterday you were telling me about that.
And your dad was trailing him.
Yeah,
Now, their only thing on the trailer was the engine block.
Yeah.
And so you wasted gas in 2 cars.
Right.
Pulling one trailer with one engine block instead of carpooling.
Yep.
Now, obviously that
Bro.
wouldn't make a difference but considering you would think since you opted to use that mode of transportation instead of spending $30 on a rent-a-truck per day.
Yep.
And you guys are almost 3 weeks into this moving daily.
3 weeks every
and
day.
probably let's average 8 trips a day?
At least getting up, starting every day at 4:25.
So you're probably spending $20 to $30 a day in gas for 2 vehicles or more.
By far.
Just to save $80 on a U-Haul truck?
By far. It
Not to mention the most valuable question, what is your time worth to you?
My time is worth a whole hell of a lot to me, man. But to 2 retirees, you know.
Well, you would think their time was worth even more. They're on borrowed time. Not to be rude to your father, but
no problem, bro. No problem. But you're right. It's mind-boggling because now listen. I like things to look nice. Okay, I get it.
Me too.
I like nice things. I like things to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, man? I cannot move stuff and then have it. Whoa! That can't go on the trailer until we wax it. And I'm going, are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
We're literally cleaning. I mean, I understand wiping the dust off, getting stuff cleaned up, but waxing everything, waxing the ceiling fan blades, and and microwaves.
And I understand that you want to leave the house clean, but you helped me when I moved out of my last house, and we painted the walls, and I took the blades off the fan and painted them, but there's only so much you're responsible for in that situation.
Exactly. Well, bro, let me tell you something. Imagine, let's see, that house has got to be, I don't know, what do you think, 3,500 under air?
I don't know. I've never been inside.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's anywhere between 3,500 and 4,000 square feet under air. Now, that house has been cleaned with an effing toothbrush, bro.
Sure.
From top to bottom, the walls, everything, man, everything. And I'm going, this is starting to really get ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Damn right. It's getting ridiculous. And I'm I'm to the point now, like right now, I feel so good being here and seeing you, man, and being able to kick back, because this has gotten out of control. It's gotten out of hand, man. It has gotten out of hand. You know?
So I'm using the soundboard that I use on Stan and Haney.
Oh, right on, bro.
To try, well, not only to play songs quickly without hearing a bunch of clicks, but also because it has a volume control on it that seems to work a little better than the one that's on Windows Media Player.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we can have some sound effects and things of that nature.
Beautiful.
It's been a while since we've been together.
Yes, it has, man.
You've had some moving going on, and we tried to get together last night and record, but I had a family emergency I had to deal with.
Yes, you did.
So I want to give everybody a little RIM update.
All right.
As we last heard, I was fighting to get rims for my truck.
Yeah, dude.
And it's been a hell of a journey, but the journey has come to a conclusion.
Woo!
But I want to share the journey with you all. And so that's what we're going to do. Here we go. So as you all know, I ordered some rims, and I got the tires from a different vendor. It's been so long. Basically, I ordered the stuff on the Tuesday. They were supposed to deliver on that Friday.
Right.
I got my FedEx notice saying, hey, the rims are showing up today. The tires did show up. So I took my car over there, dropped it off, got my mechanic's truck, drove it to the station, and I got a call from him saying, hey, only 2 rims showed up.
Oh, my gosh, man.
So I said, okay, let me call the website and figure out what the hell's going on. So I called them up, and they explained to me that those 2 rims were from Orlando, that the vendor only had 2 rims at that distribution center, and the other 2 were in Jacksonville, and that they were on their way down.
Oh.
Fine, it is what it is, not a big deal, who cares, whatever. Yeah. So I went and picked up my truck after we left the show. Went home. That was a Friday.
Yeah.
Which means the rims probably won't show up until Monday. Whatever it is, what it is, not a big deal. Yeah. First world problems. So I wake up Monday, I get the notification that they are en route. They will be delivered there that day. The last one's delivered around 11 a.m., so let's do the math.
Yeah.
They're on the FedEx route, drop off around 11 a.m. Took my truck over there, the rim showed up. Sweet.
Yeah.
So we take one tire off.
Uh-oh.
And luckily, my mechanic had the foresight to just go ahead and pop the rim up on the hub without putting the tires on it.
Yeah.
And it didn't fit.
Oh, man.
The hole in the center of the rim, basically on your rotor and on your drum. Actually, not even on the drum, but on rotors, you have the center, the hub-centric ring that your rim sits on to make sure that it's centered before you lock down your lugs.
Absolutely.
Well, that hub-centric ring did not fit through the center of the rim.
Yeah.
Well, son of a bitch.
Dude.
So I called him up and I said, hey, on your website it says if I order these over the phone, they're guaranteed to fit. Well, I ordered them over the phone. Apparently they're guaranteed to fit, but not the first time. What do we need to do? Well, let me see, sir. Let's see. Let me put you on hold. I'll call you. Actually, let me call you back. And so they called me back. Yeah, the manager found the set that fit. They're the same exact rims, just a different model number. Okay, well, I got some baloney skins on my rims I have now. They're 16s. I got some 17-inch tires here. I need tires. I need my rims. Can you overnight them for me, please? Exactly. Absolutely. This is our fault. We want to make it good. Fantastic. Thank you. Great. So later, I get a sometime at 3 in the morning, an email was generated that the order had been approved and that the rims were going to be sent out. But I noticed that the shipping address on the order form was at my house.
No.
And not the shop that the other rims were delivered to, and that didn't fit. Well, obviously I wasn't up at 3 a.m.
Hell no.
But when I did get up at 5:30 a.m., I saw the email, and of course their phones don't open until 8 a.m., which really ain't bad, because actually, no, they're not in California. They're in Florida. So anyhow, 8 a.m. Called them up, said, hey, here's the deal. I got your confirmation. It says that they are shipping to my address. They are not to ship to my address. They need to go to my mechanic, so that's where my tires are at.
Right.
Okay, hold on, sir. Can I get the order number? Yes, you can. Give me the order number. Hold on. Come back. We had a little bit of a confrontation, but I can't remember what was said, but it came down to, don't worry about what that email said. That's just a confirmation. Your rims will, in fact, deliver to the same location that the original set did. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
everything's golden at this point.
Yep, so this is Monday. Okay, well, the last 2 sets of rims that delivered at 11 o'clock, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop my truck off here at 11 o'clock.
Hell yeah.
Get my buddy's old beater truck, drive it to the station, and wait.
Yep.
Show starts at 2, nothing.
No call.
Nothing. Fast forward to 5:15. Yo, man, we're closing up shop. I haven't seen your rims yet.
No.
What the hell? So I actually tweeted the website and included at FedEx.com in the tweet. And out of the 2, FedEx is the only one that got back to me. They sent me a private message, said, hey, what's the tracking number? Let's see what we can find out.
Yeah, exactly.
So I gave it to them. Like, well, not a problem. They were delivered at 5:12. What address? Cape Coral or Fort Myers? Cape Coral. Yeah, that's my house.
Oh, bro.
So this is Monday. The second time I dropped off my truck. The second time I borrowed someone else's vehicle.
Right, yep.
The second time I had to drive to North Fort Myers to exchange the vehicle for my truck.
All that hassle, man.
Second time of risking driving someone else's car in snowbird traffic. The risk of someone else driving my car in snowbird traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what it is. So I go home, and I pull up, and there they are, in all their glory, sitting on my front porch in their white retail boxes, saying the name brand, saying the size 17-inch rim, stacked up at my front door.
Are you kidding me, man?
For all the porch pirates to see.
Especially now, Timmy and his buddies down the street.
Now, this wouldn't be a big deal, except for the fact that the rims that showed up at the correct location, in a secured location, in the lobby of a mechanic shop, the white retail boxes were shipped 2 at a time in a blank, brown, nondescript box, so that if you saw this box, it could be a box of pillows, it could be a box of old shoes for the Salvation Army.
Absolutely.
So when it's delivered to a secure lobby in an open facility, like a business, they're in a nondescript box. But when they're left on my front porch for the world to see, they're in all 4 individual boxes with the name brand, the size.
Oh my gosh, man.
And the other occupants in my home could not lift these rims because they're heavy. And so she was basically pacing back and forth, watching the security cameras to make sure no one stole my rims before I got home.
Bro.
Whatever, I got them now. Let's just move on with our lives.
Yeah, right.
Woo. So I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Throw the rims in the back of my truck.
Yep.
Head on down to the mechanic shop for the 3rd time. And get there early. They have somebody up on the rack to get their tires mounted and balanced great. Throw my truck up on the rack, take the rim off, throw the rim up there, and it fits in all its glory. These are actually the universal rim. My hub-centric ring is the exact same size as the hub-centric hole in the middle of the rim, but that also came with 2 downsizers, so that if you're putting these on a truck with a smaller ring, they actually have the universal rings to make them fit.
They had the adapters,
which I'll probably just sell on eBay.
There you go.
But anyhow, now here's the thing with modern day car. As you guys know, you have your air pressure sensor gauges.
Yep.
So when your tire pressure gets low, your dashboard. Well, if you ever wondered how that technology works, I can tell you. It works kind of using a proprietary automotive version of Wi-Fi.
Like a Bluetooth?
Not Bluetooth or even infrared.
Okay.
Basically, inside the hub, on the back of your stem, is a device about the size of a concave box of Tic Tacs.
Okay, right on.
With a small battery in it to provide power. And obviously with air sensors and pressure sensors, so that when the tire pressure gets below X number, it sends the signal to your dashboard, which rim, which tire. Well, we had to put those in my new rim. which means we had to take the old tire off the old rim, pull those out, put those on the new rim, then put the new tires on the new rim.
Right.
Go through that whole procedure. The thing looks beautiful. Great, let's get to it. Let's 3 more to go. Boom, boom, boom. Bust out 2 more, down to the last tire.
Right on.
Put the rim on the machine.
Yep.
Now, for those of you who never been in a mechanic shop, modern day mechanic shops are primarily made up of all pneumatic machines.
Oh, absolutely.
With the exception of the tire the tire balance machine.
Right.
And the alignment machine. Those run off computer and electric.
Yeah, exactly.
But the machine that holds the rim, that mounts the tire to the rim, runs off of air.
Yep.
All the air tools, such as the the impact tools, run off of air.
Yep, all your pneumatic tools.
So he starts to put on the tire and...
No way, bro. Air compressor goes.
Air compressor went out. No worries, we got a backup.
Sweet.
Kicking on. Now, the problem with backup devices are they never get used. And so the backup comes on.
They're not maintained.
Gets up to about 10 pounds. So now my truck's up on a rack with 3 tires on it. All the other tires are taken off the rims because we had to get the air pressure sensors out of the old rims to put in the new rims. So it's not like I can just throw on one of the old tires and go about my day.
Right, yeah. No, there's no way.
And so now I'm stranded.
Dude.
And this is a Tuesday morning. I have computer jobs I got to get to. Not to mention a radio station I got to get to.
Absolutely.
So I stand around there for an hour, and the air pump guy shows up, and he's back there working on it. And I look at my mechanics and give me your keys.
Yeah, I got to go, bro.
So for the 3rd time in 5 days, I'm driving someone else's truck during snowbird season to get to my job.
Gosh.
And luckily, I go and do a few jobs. And I text him, how's the air compressor coming? He sent me a picture of my truck out in the parking lot. I said, sweet, I'll come pick it up. And so at that point, I was done. I'm like, it's over with.
You're burnt, man.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not done in a bad way, but done. Finally, this nonsense is over.
Right.
Because when the air compressor went out, we just laughed. Because at that point, you have 2 options, laugh or cry. And I'm not going to cry in public.
Yeah, you got to laugh.
I say that shit when I'm alone in my car. But so anyhow, I go pick up my truck, and I go on with my day. The following morning, I get an email from the website who sent the rims. Hey, just to give you a heads up, we changed the address on FedEx has been updated. You'll get the rims delivered. I replied back, thank you very much. The rims are on my truck. They look great. Right. However, the rims were not sent to my mechanic shop. They were left on my front porch in the retail boxes, blah, 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 blah.
Damn right, man.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Now they try to F with me a bit.
Do they now?
They reply with no words, no text, just a copy of the invoice showing the shipping and the billing address, and the shipping address being my mechanic shop.
Right.
So I replied back. Now keep in mind, with my Gmail account, when you email me, it shows, because of my YouTube channel, it shows D-Train on at 96K Rock, and it shows my thumbnail picture with me and a microphone.
Absolutely.
And so they probably know at this point what I do. And so I replied back, thanks so much, that's great, doesn't change the fact that they were dropped off on my front porch in the retail box, blah, 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 blah. No worries, they're on my truck. I'm moving on with my life. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I couldn't stop there.
No, I know you, bro.
So I replied again, another email. By the way, thanks for 2 episodes worth of content and 2 podcasts worth of content.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. So this Monday, I get an email back from them. We take our customer service very, very seriously.
Pride and pleasure in our
We want to refund you $70. How does that sound?
Really?
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Boom. So finally it's done and over with.
Have you got the $70 yet?
Yeah, that's all taken care of.
All right, good.
But when we did have the rims off, we discovered that my brake pads need to be replaced. Which ain't a big deal. I mean, I'm almost a 40-year-old man. I know how to change brakes.
Yep.
But this is where the truck earns some extra cool points. I have never seen this on a car. I'm sure they're making their rounds. But my calipers now, they have an opening on the outside of them. You don't have to take the caliper off the rotor anymore.
What?
Okay, so picture your caliper on the side where the rotor goes through. It's kind of like, just picture a big block.
Yeah, I see.
There's 2 horizontal pins with 2 wires holding them in place. You take the wires out of the holes that run through the pins.
Right.
Take your hammer, tap the pins out, pull them out. The brake pads pull out of the opening, then before you pull them out, you take your screwdrivers, you open up your caliper.
Yeah, you gotta
They
press them
slide out. You put the new ones back in. You hammer the pins back in. Put the retention clips back in. Done. It takes longer to get the car jacked up, get the tire off the rim, than it does actually change the brake pads.
I'll be damned, man.
Super awesome.
You think that's on all new vehicles, I guess, or is this
new Toyotas? Anyhow,
I was about to say, is this strictly probably a Toyota thing?
No, I don't think they're on my old Tacoma. I had the 14, and now I got the 16. So.
Wow, man.
And it's a base model Tacoma. The rear brakes are drums, so I'm sure if you have a newer Tacoma with rotors all the way around, you're good to go.
You got rotors all the way around on this?
No, I got drums in the back.
Really?
I don't know why you would think it would be more expensive to make drums than the rotors, but on base model cars, even nowadays, they seem to put drums in the back.
You know what? For the life of me, I thought everything was four-wheel disc.
Nope.
Everything.
I changed the brakes on someone's Camry about 5 years ago, and their rear brakes were drums.
Wow.
My 05 Colorado rear brakes were drums.
Right.
See, I haven't gotten a tax bracket high enough to buy cars that have all-around rotors.
My Dodge Dakota rear drums in the rear. So wow, bro.
But it's amazing what a nice set of tires and rims do to change the appearance of a base model truck. Now, the benefit of a base model truck, mind you...
Real quick, your truck's looking sharp, bro.
It's damn near murdered out.
Yeah, I love it, man.
But the reason it's murdered out is because it's the base model. In the base model, they don't put the fancy chrome bumpers.
I know.
And they don't put all the fancy chrome trim.
Yep.
And so I got the black matching bumper to the black matching paint. And so only thing that really is not black on my truck is the Toyota logo on the grill and the white beauty stripe going down the line of the fenders.
Right, yeah.
And and my headlights and brake lights, but everything else is black.
Yeah, it looks sweet, man. That is, I'm telling you, man, that's got to be one of the sweetest looking trucks I've seen out there on the road, man. It looks nice. Now, Toyota, the chrome package comes with the TRD, correct?
That's the Toyota racing. That's
the racing development.
No,
or
you
is
can
that
get
like the SLT or
EXT, you can get the chrome. You can get the chrome on basically any
if you wanted it,
any Tacoma that's not the base model.
Right.
Because those are all things that to save the price. Just like on mine, I don't know why they deleted the key fob, which drives me nuts. Now I got to go drop $130 on a key fob.
Yeah.
And I lost my cruise control, which is a huge thing.
You got a GoPro.
I got the fancy GoPro mount.
I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
I bet you if you bought the high-end version, they probably came with a GoPro, but mine clearly, with it being a base model, did not.
So, but you got the mount.
Got the mount.
You got the mount. It's right there, man. That was one of the first things I noticed on your truck. I was like, what?
Well, my old one had it, too.
Did you put that up there? Oh, did it really?
Yeah, my white Tacoma had one, too.
I never noticed it on your white one. I just noticed when I got into your new truck, I was like sitting there, and the first thing that caught my eyes was I was like, is that a GoPro mount? And you're like, yeah, man. I was like...
Well, that's because Toyota sponsors Nitro Circus. They were for a while, and all those guys.
Okay.
And a lot of people use the higher-end Tacomas for off-road racing.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I get that. Wow, dude. Hey, bro, I'll tell you. There is no doubt, man. Your truck is definitely murdered out, man. That thing looks so sweet right now, man.
Volkswagen is too, almost.
Bro, another.
Except for it has the chrome. It has the chrome striping.
Bro, I'm coming down the street and.
Which house is yours? The one with the murder scene in the driveway.
Yeah, that one is blacked out, dog. You don't even come over here, man. I dig that.
We are going to take a little break. We'll come back momentarily, and we'll get started with the show.
All right.
Spam was introduced by Hormel in 1937. The product was intended to increase the sales of pork shoulder, which wasn't very popular at the time. Hormel claims the meaning of the name is known only by a small circle of former Hormel food executives, but popular beliefs are that the name is an abbreviation for spiced ham, spare meat, or shoulder of pork and ham. Another popular explanation is Spam is actually an acronym standing for Specially Processed Army Meat. Due to the difficulties of delivering fresh meat to the front during World War II, Spam became an ubiquitous part of the United States soldiers' diet. Some jokingly referred to Spam as ham that didn't pass its physical or meatloaf without basic training. By the war's end, over 150 pounds of Spam had been purchased by the United States military. During World War II and the occupations that followed, Spam was introduced into Guam, Hawaii, Okinawa, and the Philippines, as well as other islands in the Pacific. As consequences of World War II's rationing and the Lend-Lease Act, Spam also gained prominence in the United Kingdom. In addition to increasing production for the United Kingdom, Hormel also expanded output as part of the Allies' aid to the similarly beleaguered Soviet Union. Nikita Khrushchev once declared, "Without Spam, we wouldn't have been able to feed our army." Throughout the war, countries ravaged by conflict and faced with strict food rationings came to appreciate the value of Spam.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Waterman and D-Train Show, broadcasting from beautiful this box next to the toilet, like I've been told, from Cape Coral, Florida, in Studio 2B. It's the Waterman and D-Train Show. What's up, bro?
I did a better job.
Yeah, you did, man. I'm just, I kind of got thrown off a bit. I mean, I've got ADHD or ADD or whatever they even want to call it. Never been medicated for it. I've self-medicated, obviously. Too much.
Now, if you don't know what we're talking about when I say when I did it, it sounds better, that means you're listening to this out of order somehow.
Yeah.
So rewind this and go back to the beginning.
Rewind and go back to the beginning, man? Seriously?
I'm saying if you're listening to this and you don't understand when I meant by saying I did it better, that means they didn't hear when I did it a half hour ago.
You did do it better. Damn it, man.
So they should be rewinding because they're not listening to this at the proper sequence.
All right, I got you. I'm just, I got you. No, I was thrown off there because all I've been seeing pictures of, bro, D-Train, all I've been seeing pictures of are people posting pictures on Facebook and all the social media websites of this condom snorting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now, deviated septums, okay, typically happen, I guess, with a lot of drug abuse. Am I mistaken on that?
Yeah, but you don't need deviated septum. You never, as a child, started laughing and snorted spaghetti out through your throat and out your nose by laughing too hard?
Yeah, I guess I have. I mean, I can't really recall, but I'm sure it's happened. But this lubed condom snorting stuff. What the hell is that? What do you? I mean,
somebody did it who thought it would be funny to put it on YouTube. And the funny thing is if you get more than 2 people to do something on YouTube, the media and Facebook and Twitter. Well, let's be honest. With all the Facebook accounts and all the Twitter accounts, as we've said in the past, basically people are running their own underground magazine.
Absolutely.
And they need content to get likes and clicks. The news media have nothing better to talk about because they don't want to talk about what's really going on in the world.
No, they don't.
And so they say, well, hey, this is trending. Oh, my God, this is an epidemic.
Yeah.
Let's get all these experts on here to talk about how dangerous it is to snort condoms through your nose.
Well, it is dangerous, kids. Don't snort coke.
I'm just glad these kids haven't discovered what elevators are.
Whoa, dude. All right, okay. Now you've really got my damn attention,
but
man.
I can't go into it because I don't want them to learn what it is and be responsible for the epidemic of people.
All right, okay. Well, can you tell me when we get off air?
Sure.
All right, because I would love to know because I might try it.
Well, you're from California. You may know it as the breathing game.
Oh, okay. All right.
A free way to catch a buzz.
That's all you got to say, my man. That's all you got
So
to
anyhow,
say.
we opened the show earlier with a little Jim, a little Jim. Yeah, Jim. Jim's the word I'm looking for.
Man. I think it's a quite catchy. Here we go.
So, you recorded this about a few weeks ago, and we were going to talk about this after the world premiere on the Stan and Haney show 2 Fridays ago. But we didn't have we're behind on our podcast.
Yeah, we're one behind.
So we lost our momentum off of the momentum created by this epic release,
bro.
So, was this your first time ever recording in a recording studio outside of the radio station?
In a professional quality environment, yes. Now, me and Mark back in the day, for those of you, Mr. Mark Haney from the Stan and Haney show. Back in the day, Tommy used to have a studio, and this thing was damn near professionally set up, man. Like, he really went out of his way, man, and took his whole home And like the bathroom, you'd go to the bathroom, man. There'd be all the cables running into the bathroom for guitar solos, you know. Randy, we used to have like a makeshift drum room with a wall with a little window. We made like a little like a partition with a little glass window, so you know you can get the good sounds. And that was as professional as I got to that point. Now this place that we went to. I'm sure I'm allowed to say the name. Why not? I'm gonna give them a plug, man. The Vibe, dude. Those guys, Charlie and the guys over there, are top notch, man. Top notch.
Now I may be biased, but Hanny, yourself, and Randy have been getting a lot of love on the air. Who the hell was the bass player? No one has given the bass player any love.
I believe
you guys wanted me to go, but I had family in town, and I have never played the song, and I wasn't ready to go record a song I never played because I'm not that good of a bass player. So who is the bass player?
This guy, if I'm not mistaken, because I met him briefly because it was kind of like, hey, this is so-and-so. His name was Doug. I don't know his last name. His name was Doug, man. This guy came in, and when he heard what was going on, he kind of chuckled, man. He looked at me and was like, he was like, hey, man, that's pretty catchy. And I said, I wrote that 18 years ago. And I wrote that at Tommy's old place, and I was totally loaded and wasted at the time that I wrote it, because the original lyrics didn't have what in there. It had a cuss word. And, you can all figure that out by just listening to the tune. But this professional studio, bro, was so rad, man. The booths, they've got, it's like, and what's funny about it is it's right next door to the self-defense place that I had gone to.
New World Fitness. New World Fitness. Something or other. I apologize. Yeah. New World Fitness and...
Defense.
Yeah, New World Defense and Fitness. They teach Krav Maga, and I think they also do similar to. So I go to the gym 4 days a week. I should know this.
They do all kinds of cross training.
Yeah, CrossFit.
That's CrossFit. The word I'm looking for. Yeah, CrossFit, cross training. It was right next door to this place, and they've got this huge. It's a gigantic warehouse, man. That they've. Excuse me. They've a gigantic warehouse that they have. They rent out practice rooms. I think there's 12 practice rooms in there. So there's a lot of bands. There's a lot of activity going on. They've got 2 recording studios. They got Studio like 1A and Studio 2B. Now, we were in the main studio, 1A, and this place, I was looking around at this thing, and I'm going, this is badass, man. And then I go into the engineering, and I'm like, look at this board, man. This stuff is kick ass, man. Let's do this. Now, next thing I know, we go in. I'm in the break room. There's people. They've got. They're making vodka drinks and stuff. And I was like, right on. I'm gonna, steer clear of that right now. And next thing I know, Charlie, the guy that owns the place, comes into engineering, and he has this big bucket full of like one hit fireballs, man. Mm-hmm. And I was like, are you kidding me? So everybody grabbed one. Obviously. Everybody did. And I was like, all right, and I'm nervous, because seriously, I was nervous, because it's like, the pressure.
It's not free.
It's not free, and the pressure that I, once I stepped into this place, I was like, okay, here we go, let's get it done. And you get that just, it's, I don't know, probably like jumping out of an airplane. You talk about it, you get up in the air, the butterflies start flying, then it's like, you got, there's only one way that you're getting to the ground, buddy, and you got to jump.
And and it's funny you mention that, because growing up as a skateboarder and a snowboarder and a surfer, and growing up in the 90s when everything was extreme, bass jump, extreme. People were base jumping off of everything, jumping off of planes, a lot of skydiving, and I always said I wanted to do that.
Right.
Well, a few years ago, some friends came down from Jersey, and they were considering doing that. And so it became a real question of, would I jump out of a plane?
Right.
Would I pay money to jump out of a plane? Now at 18, 19, 20, probably yes, but now I got a business. I got a business partner. I got people relying on me.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't make that decision, and we didn't end up going. And now that decision has come back around with my World War II. I was at an air show a few months back, and they had a plane fly over, and they actually had guys jumping out in World War II authentic airborne uniforms, both American and British.
Wow.
And they were doing the static jumping on the lines, 12 men to a stick.
Wow.
And as soon as they hit the ground, my guys with our tanks, we kicked off and started the reenactment because
they're hitting the ground.
They're truly real parachutists. They weren't participating in their part was jumping out of the planes. Now they got to collect their gear, take care of the legitimate life-saving equipment, and get it out of there. But anyhow, after the air show, we talked to those guys, and they are looking for recruits.
Get out.
And all you need is a uniform and $350.
Get out of here.
And they train in Florida, and I can travel around with them to air shows. But once again, can I bring myself to jump out of that plane? Now, it is a little safer because it's static. It takes the human air out of it as far as pulling the cord.
Yep.
Because as soon as you jump out of the plane, the parachute's pulled out, and you're aloft.
Yeah.
And you do have the backup pack. And so I've been considering, but I just don't know because of all the people who rely on me. I just don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
I've talked about
Haney told me not to do it. Stan said do it. Haney's like, no, there's no way.
Yeah. Haney tells me not to do a lot of things, and I end up doing it anyway. Sometimes doing it anyways. But that's pretty cool, man. But that's what the studio was like.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the studio was like. It was that kind of pressure where it's, you're here for business, and you're here to take care of. And
you're here because it's your song.
Damn right.
Your lyrics.
Yep.
Your lead guitar.
Everything. It's like something.
And so you can't phone it in. You're basically running the show for all intents and purposes.
No, and they're all looking at me. Does that sound good? Does that sound all right? Yeah, that's cool.
And you guys had no practice. You guys didn't get together and work the beats out. You guys didn't do anything.
I'm going to be honest with you. We had one practice. I think it was a day or two before, and I timed it 12 minutes.
I was going to say, I thought it got canceled.
We did cancel at first, and then we did get together, and we only practiced. It was almost just sort of a like just to kind of everybody kind of get together and kind of hang out for a second, just to catch a vibe, And the only time I've seen Randy really is when he stops by the station, and I haven't really seen Randy outside of the station in a long time. But we got there, man, and I'm telling you, we still had an hour on the clock.
Yeah.
That I kind of feel bummed now because it's like I had a few more things that I kind of wanted to get down. Haney comes in, he does his leads, and I know, man, like you say, your time is precious. So he comes in, he's listening, and he knows exactly. He's heard the song before. He knows exactly what he's doing. He cuts the leads. I think he did, I'm going to say 4 takes on the lead. And I liked all 4 of them, and we ended up dubbing some over.
Sure.
And then I went into engineering, and I sat in there with the guys, me and Randy did, and just kind of overlooked the mix. And then the original vocals, we ended up obviously recutting. I went back into the booth and cut the vocals again, and cut them again, and cut them again. And I spent another 45 minutes. Believe it or not, for a 2-minute and 12-second song, there's 45 minutes worth.
It's a process. That's why recording time is so expensive.
Of vocal tracks, exactly, man. And I was stoked with the final product. I'm gonna be honest with you. I because all you guys got to hear it, and on that Friday, I didn't know anything, and I haven't even heard it. And then when I heard it, man, I was like, holy S, man, this is badass. I was like, I thought it came out pretty good, man, and I cannot wait for further things to come along with this, because I've quite a few more tracks in my mind. But I'm going to be honest with you, people are want to see you live. People were asking, dude, why don't you have the open up for Fozzy just for the hell of it, man. You know, like try to get like just a couple songs in, you know. And I was like, I would love to. I think it'd be fun. But once again, logistics,
you don't have a band.
and I don't have a band, and you know, I mean, I've got guys to play, and I'm sure Randy would probably, but you know, I need a band. I need more people to get behind. So hopefully in the future, everybody out there will get a chance to see us play a few songs live, man, and have some fun with it. You know, I was pretty stoked, but the whole process, the whole recording process, man.
Sure.
I love that. I love that shit. I'm sorry I said it, but I love it, man. The environment is wide open. Now, what I did notice is the later it got, the more intense it got.
That's because people are tired. They want to get the crap over with and go home.
Oh, no. It's not just that, my friend. Different groups of people make their way in.
I gotcha.
All right. So, this group of rappers shows up.
Well, it's funny because the song I'm playing in the background I recorded in 1999 in a place in Columbus, Ohio, and Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony was recording there that same day.
Wow.
So yes, you will run into your
so
other genres when you're at the recording studio.
Oh, absolutely. And they were sitting there, and they came into the studio, 1A, and I'm sitting on the couch and kind of listening to the dubs, and I was like, I'm getting down. They come, barreling in. And introduced to everybody. I wish I could remember all their names, man. But they were listening, and they were listening to the song, El Camino, man. And they looked over, and they looked at the engineer, and they're like, "Who's that, man? Who's that?" And the dude spun around in his chair, and pointed, and he goes, "It's that dude's song right there. It's the Waterman song right there." And they looked over at me, and they were kind of like, they were just like, "That's you, man? That's you?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." I was like, that's me, man. And they were like, that's pretty catchy, man. I like that. And I was like, "Really?" I wasn't expecting that. And they were like, "Man, maybe we'll have you come in and do something with us one time, And I'm serious, man. And I started chuckling. I was like, "Yeah, sure, anytime." But that whole experience, man, phenomenal.
When you guys just overdubbed that "what" part, how many people were saying "what" on that?
That was me, Haney, and Randy.
Because on mine, now, when I recorded mine back in the day, we were doing it to, I think, analog. But there's a part in mine where we all yell "hell yeah," and I think we got like 7 people in the recording booth at the same exact time to just scream "hell yeah" once.
Right. No, that was just us, and I believe, overlaid, obviously, I'm curious also, because I haven't had a chance to speak with Randy since the day he came by the studio. But I'm curious, there's that one verse in there.
Hold on a second.
This is you guys.
I want to hear the "hell yeah" real quick.
Turn it up.
The Constitution doesn't mean true today. The fucking pace.
It's in the next verse.
Let it play for a minute, man. I'm jamming it.
It's like 20 years old. I was like 18.
I love it, man.
Yeah, we had like 9 people just to get that one "hell yeah."
It's amazing what it takes. It really, seriously.
I mean, yeah, you can overdub it, but it sounds flat and sounds hollow.
Yeah.
It just sounds better to have as many a-holes as you can squeeze into a recording booth one time to scream "hell yeah."
Absolutely. And like I said, the whole process, and with the way it is now, it's not like you have to sit there and, like you say, analog and cut tape, reel-to-reel tape and splice and all that.
I mean, we had tracks back then, but it still wasn't done right on a computer where you can just copy, paste, delete, make a new track, and then do a repair transit on it and
it's not
compress it down and call it done. It was a hell of a lot more effort.
You can add more reverb, take reverb out, add,
It was just more time consuming. And back then, I mean, it was $500 an hour. And so to cut a demo tape back then, it was quite a feat. Whereas now you just need a couple, a quiet room and a laptop, and you're done.
And you can sit there and tear it up, man. I'm gonna be honest. I was super stoked. I was super stoked with the outcome. I mean, I've got the CD, which I don't have Bluetooth in the ride, so I can't stream it.
And if you want to hear the song without us yapping over it, just go to StanandHaney.com, click on the Waterman and D-Train logo, or you can go to d-410.com, click on the Waterman and D-Train show logo.
Yeah, man.
You'll see the YouTube video on there. You can also download the song if you want it, and you can also find it on our YouTube channel. And while we're on the subject, if you just want to make a note, we post on Facebook. We try to record on Saturdays if we're recording on Saturday. Obviously today's Sunday and people are watching Walking Dead right now. But if you want to call us in the future, the number is 352-888-5573. That's 352-888-5573. Just keep an eye out on our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and you'll see when we want to talk.
Give us a ring, man. We want to hear from you. Absolutely, we want to hear from you.
So you fancy yourself a Pantera over Superfan, right?
Yeah, bro, back in the day, that was the first show. To be honest with you, that was the first show. Now, my father was in show business his entire life, and I got to experience the movie aspect. But as far as music, that was the first show I was ever able to work, and that was in '96.
Okay, finish this lyric.
All right.
Or tell me what song it's from.
All right.
Almost every day, I see the same face on broken picture tubes. It fits the attitude.
Almost every day. I'm broken? No, wait. Damn, dude. I know those lyrics, dude. I just can't picture the name of the damn song, the title of the song. No, it wouldn't be. It's not Cemetery Gates. Oh, come on, man.
The truth and right and wrong, the boundaries of the law. You seem to miss the point, arrested for a joint. Same song, second verse. I think those people, the real Pantera fans, are they're thinking
that I'm not a Pantera fan, and
thinking,
I am, man. But I'm
thinking.
Oh, shut up, man! Why you gotta pull that out on me, man?
Whoa! Double time. Oh, it's in loop mode.
Oh, that's just great.
Oh, it's still in loop mode.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Appreciate it. No, I am a Pantera fan, man. It's been.
But you don't know the lyrics to "Effing Hostile"?
Oh, damn, dude.
I went right off of "Vulgar Display of Power," the most commercially successful album of theirs. One of their. Now, granted, you're not going to hear that song on the radio because of the name of the title.
I can't believe I didn't pick up on that one, man.
Yeah. I mean, the only easier I could have done on that was to go with "Walk," which would have been too easy.
Yeah, that would have been too easy. I was watching a little video clip of them at Monsters of Rock in '91. I think it's '91, '92. Wow, man.
Full of grief, I scream at the wind.
Oh, crap. You know what? Don't start throwing this stuff.
Thought I heard the words of others. Imprison myself.
The Great Southern Trendkill.
No, same album.
It is up there.
Live in a Hole.
But it is off the Great Southern Trendkill. What album is that?
No, that's still a Vulgar Display of Power.
You're still on Vulgar.
Yeah. See, I tried to make it easy for you.
Well, man, look.
You're losing your credit as king of all
things.
Pantera.
Hell no. Look, let me tell you something. One of the things that disturbed me about that, I quit listening for a little bit when Phil kind of had his meltdown there at Dime Bash there in Hollywood a few years back. Zakk Wylde, everybody, they get Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters was there. I mean, they get the who's who of the rock business there for the annual Dime Bash. And when he was on stage, and you saw the clip, right? Did you see the clip? You know what I'm talking about? Where he did the whole white power thing.
Yeah.
And he does his arm just like and he supposedly at first blamed that on white wine.
Something stupid.
Something real dumb, and that hurt that guy bad.
Oh, sure, dude.
It hurt Phil's cred real bad.
Not that his cred
while.
was, stellar anyhow.
Well, man, no, he was, dude, that guy, man, those Dime and Rex and Vinny and Paul, what a hell of a group. And this rumor stuff going around of having a little reunion show of Vinny and Phil making up, that's a bunch of BS, man. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And it shouldn't happen because Dimebag is dead, man. In fact, by one of your hometowns there in Columbus, Ohio, right? You lived there?
Columbus, Ohio, Alrosa Villa.
Yeah. You played a show there, didn't you?
That's where I learned that's where my band started. I mean, that's where we played open for Zach Wild at.
The Snowblind, right?
Yeah. I used to go see shows there. And for those of you living in Fort Myers, the Alrosa Villa is about the size of the Buddha. I saw Limp Bizkit open up for Korn there, so if you can imagine seeing Limp Bizkit and Korn playing at the Buddha.
Jacksonville guys.
I've seen so many bands. There are has-beens and has-nots, but that's where we started, and saw, because the nice thing about Alrosa is you only had to be 16 to get in.
Right.
And so when we were in high school, we'd just go watch local bands and just bands on rotation, regional bands and all that. And so, I mean, long before I got into working in radio, I had already been to hundreds of concerts.
Right,
I mean, it was nothing new for me. I mean, I played probably 10. And
and I got to say, and that's one of the things I think people, they have an idea what it's like backstage. And me and you have been backstage countless at hundreds of shows, okay? Backstage is great and all. It's cool. I think the only thing I dig about is the fact that I'm not standing in line to take a leak, man.
Huh.
You know
Access
what I'm saying?
to a halfway decent portalet's pretty nice.
Exactly. Other than that, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. Not anymore, by any chance. I'm sure there are some
Everybody's
shows.
on their tour buses. You're just in everybody's way. The roadie's trying to get equipment in and out.
Exactly.
If it's outdoor show, it's hot. If it's an indoor show, you're in cramped back quarters.
Exactly.
It stinks. You can't see the show. You can't hear anything. All you hear is the bass and the drum and people moving around, and you're basically...
waiting for an interview or...
And if you're a hardcore fan, you're missing the show going out on stage.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're lucky, you'll catch a glimpse of them walking through a door.
Exactly. I can't remember the band, but I remember at one of the shows, I'm looking over, me and you were hanging out, and I remember looking over, and the guys, literally, they had like a whole gym sitting there underneath the tent, and they're just,
they're doing crunches and bench presses.
Yeah, for hours.
Who the hell was that?
Hours.
That band was actually making a good name for themselves. I just can't remember who the hell it was.
It wasn't. I know for sure. I know for sure it wasn't Avatar. I think Breaking Benjamin. Oh man.
I'll find out. Hold on. Trying to find the lineup for 2017.
Not Red Sun Rising.
No.
I'm just going through some of the names of some of the.
I'll have to go out in the garage and look on the wall. Oh, hold on.
Go out to the garage, check out the wall. I'll tell you, I was stoked.
No, they were making a big name for themselves.
But
the young kids, was that? I think.
Highly Suspect?
No, it may have been.
Because I remember I kind of was chuckling because that's when we were having a lot of the fans doing meet and greets and stuff with some of the band members, certain bands and stuff, and looking over and going, man, these dudes are like really getting it, and good God, they're just out there just getting yoked, man. Like I wonder if they're just doing this all the time. What the hell are they talking about on the tour bus, man? Oh, bro, man, Well,
I mean, these cats are all young. You want to stay fit and make the chicks want to do things to you.
That's true.
You can't be a blob.
And what the hell? That's another thing. There must be certain towns and certain atmospheres where you do run into the backstage groupie girls, man. Because a lot. Now I can recall in the early 2000s there was quite a few in this town. They've all but disappeared. I don't know anything like that happening anymore, man. It's just the way the business is. I think these festivals and single shows are highly managed. Security's
I don't know anything about groupies, so I can't help you in that aspect. But I do want to talk about rock and roll behavior, if you will.
Okay, sure, man.
It's been a long enough time. The guy's not going to listen to us. I'm not worried about offending him.
Right.
But if you're lucky enough to win meet and greet passes to meet an artist, or in this gentleman's case, to meet every artist on the lineup that day that we had access to,
right,
and get a meet and greet and get your photo taken with them. Kind of the whole purpose of that scenario is you want to be able to show off to people you got your photo with a celebrity.
Right.
Or if you're not wanting to show off, you want to keep it so 20 years from now you can remember the time you met the celebrity.
Right.
Well, this dick was wearing a rubber Halloween devil head face mask in all of his photos. Now, the thing is a lot of these were group photos.
Yeah.
And so what? 10, 20 years. Hey, here's a picture of me of Fort Rock. Really? Yeah. Which one's you? Oh, I'm the guy. And sure, that's you.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
No,
sure.
See the tattoos?
Yeah.
It's like you're making memories and you're wearing a rubber pig mask.
That's pretty.
It's like, what's the point?
That is effing stupid, man.
And you don't think the band's not thinking this is... And then he started harassing the chick from Motionless in White, I think it was. Or no, it was Taylor. Yeah, it was Taylor, and she was getting pissed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was all trying to grab up on her, and we basically at that
point
we had to kick him out. But it's like, look, man, if you win meet and greets or you're backstage, going back to your previous conversation, rule number one is pretend you're meant to be there.
Exactly. There's kind of exactly.
You don't go, swinging on people's nuts. Oh, let me get, pretend like you're supposed to be there. Play the role, and more often than not,
you're not sitting there screaming.
You'll have a better job of passing muster, if you will.
Yeah, you're not sitting there screaming and freaking out and crying or whatever.
When I moved to
oh my god.
When I moved to California, we went down the day I got there. The second day, we went down to Zuma Beach down in
Malibu.
In Malibu, and they were filming a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't actively filming, but the set was set up. They haven't started filming, or it was the day before, or the day after.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, we just walked through the set.
Absolutely.
Walking through the parking lot.
It was probably Baywatch or something.
No, we saw up on the hill because Zuma Beach is in Malibu.
That's in North Malibu, actually.
It's it's basically the beach and then a mountain, and so up on the top were all the paparazzi. And so we walked up there, and they were filming. It was Charlie's Angels Part 2.
Ah, okay.
And it was actually the hot dog on the stick scene where they had a hot dog on a stick store on the beach, which doesn't exist, so they had to build one in Malibu. But it's just like, once again, you just pretend like you're supposed to be there. Yeah. We just walked through the parking lot and went about our day. We weren't snooping around, sticking our heads in things and yelling for people, hey, where can I find Drew at?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where's Cameron
at? Go about your day.
Where's Cameron at? Lucy Lou, man. Where's Lucy at, man? Yeah, it's true. That's the whole thing is going backstage and hanging out and stuff. I dig it. And like
when you get your photo taken, take off the stupid mask.
Right, exactly. Wear your mask out.
It's different if you're at a Kiss show, but
I've noticed that's become a big trend in the mosh pits now too. Is wearing like Jason Voorhees masks
and 120-degree weather in Florida.
Hellraiser masks and all this stuff.
Wonder why you're dying of overheating.
It's like okay, whatever. The good old days of just getting out there and whipping some ass and getting your ass whipped are over. It's like there's this whole fashion statement sort of thing that in the mosh pit. And maybe they want to stand out. Maybe they're the band's, we're shooting a video, so we want all you to really start moshing. And
circle pits.
Yeah, the circle pits, and and maybe that helps that person that maybe in the future they get the DVD. Well, digital, it's going to be posted up now.
People don't mosh like they did back in the 90s.
Hell no, man. Dude, there's no the stage dive and the diving into the crowd.
Well, insurance. I mean, that's all.
Well, listen.
And you can't really blame the venue. You got to blame all the a-holes who sued the venues for when they broke their arm crowd surfing. It's like, you're
absolutely.
You know what you're getting involved with.
Absolutely. I think people get themselves.
I actually lost a wallet at Newport Music Hall in Columbus from crowd surfing.
Oh,
and
man.
did find it, believe it or not.
Get out of here.
Yep. I used to crowd
What do you mean?
surf.
No, but I mean, how did you find it on the ground?
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay, I wasn't for sure if it was like turned into lost and found or something. If they even excuse me, had anything of that nature. But the whole thing is exactly. There's a little bit of a backstage etiquette, and like I say, my favorite thing is the simple fact I don't have to wait in line and take a leak, man. Other than that, there's not a whole lot happening. There really isn't, and it's not like it used to be. It's not the 1970s. It's not the 1980s, and a lot of people that are listening to this weren't even born then. And it's a pretty structured thing because this is where the bands are making their money now because everything is on YouTube.
Yeah, people don't buy albums anymore. They buy singles.
Yeah, they're not buying.
Or
albums.
they don't buy it at all. They just listen to it directly off a streaming service.
That's what I'm saying.
So instead of spending money on music, they're spending money on data.
Like forget the new Judas Priest album, Firepower or whatever. Going back a ways here. They released their stuff. Their whole album, a couple singles they started off on YouTube, and now the whole album's they're on YouTube. So they're not making money on their album sales; they're making money on their shows.
Yeah,
and
that and clothing.
Yeah, that and merchandise. That and merchandise. And this is the thing that Metallica has done. And what Metallica has done is, I forget who the guy they were talking to, one of their longtime managers. They have steadily increased their ticket sales for the past 5 years now. Now, Metallica, as we know, had the big, uproar with Napster.
Whoops. Well, I mean, that's 20 years ago, though.
That's what I'm saying. But they had the big uproar with Napster back then, right?
Yeah.
And that created that whole, file sharing and this and that. The way those guys and the way most bands nowadays make their money is touring. Mm-hmm. That's where they're making their money. And you know what? People are paying damn good money. Their hard-earned money to go see a show. They want to see a damn good show. They don't want to see some, like you say, somebody phone it in. They don't want to see anything like that. They might, there's going to be radical stuff happening. They want to see a good stage show. They want lights, fire, whatever it may be, depending on the type of music it is or whatever they're listening to. They don't want to go and listen to a Kanye sit there and give a lecture at Madison Square Garden. There's a video online with him doing that, man. It's just like, come on, bro. I didn't come, I want to see the show and hear the tunes. I don't want to hear you spew your left or right political BS. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the tunes because that's what I jam out to in the ride. That's what I jam out to at home. But getting back to the whole main deal of the gig, and that is these bands are out there making their money on the road, man. And the backstage is not exactly what it is all cracked up to be. Plain and simple. I mean, I've had some really good backstage experiences, especially when I first started in the business.
So you murdered Chris Elliott.
What do you mean?
Well, you shaved off your beard.
Dude, I had to.
You shaved off all your hair.
Yeah, bro. What do you think?
I think it looks better. I think you should.
Did I clean up a little bit?
You don't look so homeless now.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm still kind of. Well, I'm not really homeless, but I'm getting close.
Well, just there's a phrase called hidden homeless. Hidden homeless are people who are homeless, but they're staying with their friend's house and they have their they're trying to get their S together so they can buy their own place.
Like a flop house.
So even if you are homeless, you don't want to look like you're homeless. You want to look like a productive member of society and play that role.
So I look like a productive member of society.
More than you did before.
Dude, I was looking pretty burly, man.
Yeah.
Because, well, let me tell you something. I was going to keep the whole thing and just keep it going. And I looked in the mirror the other day and I
scared yourself.
Yeah, well, I just got out of bed and I looked and I was like, good God, man.
Is that what you call getting off the floor, getting out of bed?
I do sleep on the floor, bro. Quit with that, man. It's all I got, man. It's all I got is the damn floor. Hey, thank God I've got the the fortitude and the engineering skills that I have to pull couch cushions and slide them all together.
Make a fort?
Well, that's damn near what you call it. And throw it up against the wall and throw my head up against it. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. It's a tough business we're in, D-Train. It's a tough business. We're working hard at it. We need to get paid. We need to get, I'm hungry, man. I'm hungry as hell. What, I'm just plain out damn hungry.
Yeah.
And all the hours and things that I've done, and sometimes I don't get not even a pat on the back, not even a plain out thank you. Keep it up, keep doing what you do. Nope, don't hear nothing like that. Don't hear nothing like that. Nothing. And if anybody that I know that works harder in the business, and that's you, brother. You put so much time and effort into what you do, man. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know how you find time to even relax. I mean, what the hell do you do to relax, really?
You're looking at it.
Sorry.
I mean,
I agree. See, this is relaxing for me, man.
I mean, I haven't truly had a day off of work in almost probably 2 months. Maybe a month and a half.
Really?
I mean, I went out and installed phones this morning, so that's working.
Okay.
So I had to do that. It only took an hour and a half, but that's still a day where I had to do work.
You still have to get up, go somewhere.
Then I came home and I cleaned my rims and tires.
Did you?
Yeah, then I mowed the grass.
Right on.
Yesterday I laid probably 6 bags of chipped marble in my flower bed.
Did you?
I groomed all my hedges by hand.
Very good, very good. Now, do you find that to be therapeutic and relaxing, or
I was actually talking to a client yesterday with all the technology that I deal with my works and my private time. Yeah, when I was laying the 20 bags of mulch a week ago, I wasn't listening to music. I was just sitting out there doing it. And now, when I mow the grass, I listen to music primarily for hearing protection a little bit, cover up the lawnmower noise. But no, yep. And so I mean, today I had to go to work. I did the brakes. I mean, not the brakes, my rims and tires. Mm-hmm. I mowed the grass, cleaned bird cages.
Yeah.
Went and had to go get some, had to take a trip to the pharmacy.
Right
had to take a trip to Target.
Right on.
Did this.
Typical errands and stuff. See, like for me, this is, and like you were saying earlier, I think this is a little bit of an escape for us.
Well, that and I use the gym for stress relief, which we've talked about on past episodes. I don't want people to think I'm a health nut, because if you follow me on Instagram, you're already tired of seeing all my gym photos. But, hey, the whole point of Instagram and social media is to share with people what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. If I'm not at work, I come home, I eat, I go to the gym for an hour and a half, come home, watch TV for an hour, take a shower, and go to bed, and get up and do it all over again.
True. I will say, you're definitely a weapon aficionado, which I dig, And that gun you brought in to work on Friday.
I was at the gas station, and I walked by, and there's a little box with a picture of a Glock on it. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, dude.
And I look at the price tag, and it said $4.99. And I said, well, at that point, I don't care what it is. It's $4. And so I pulled it out, and I realized it had a little scope and a laser sight on it. And
bro, that thing was bright.
It was basically a single shot. I don't want to say airsoft, because their ammos are a lot harder than airsoft, and it's not battery operated, but for all intents and purposes, it is a manually cocked airsoft gun.
Spring action style.
And the thing is, the size of this thing is actually larger than my real Glock. And with the exception of the orange barrel, it does look like a Generation 1 Glock. Now, the funny thing is it has the knob on the slide for fully automatic, which I forget what model number Glock that was. They made a limited amount of
Really?
You could use that version of the Glock in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I used to dual wield it, but it was fully automatic. And so that toy Glock is actually made based off. It's the G20. No, I'd have to look it up.
That's cool.
But it's based off of that model number. And so I shot myself point blank in the stomach with it.
Yes, you did.
Which somebody asked me why. So, well, if I'm going to shoot Dave with it, I need to know how hard it's going to hurt if I shoot myself with it.
Yeah.
And it did put a little weld on there, but and then Stan shot you in the face with it.
Yeah, well, I got shot in the face and the neck, and that trigger is hair trigger on that little plastic gun, man.
Yeah, it's the G17.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that thing's got a hair trigger on it, man. That thing, I mean, you barely touch it. It's like.
So I pull up a YouTube video and we'll hear it fire in real life. The G17.
Yeah. The real G17,
yeah. not my toy.
No toys.
Which is ironic. You're gonna make your Glock based after the only model fully automatic, but it's a single one slide, one shot toy.
Now, what's the deal with that? Because I thought in America, you have to have a special license to have a fully automatic weapon.
Yeah, you just need a Class 3 federal firearms license, which all that requires is an ass load of money and a background check.
Really?
See, what you don't realize is most of our gun laws are designed to keep guns out of poor people's hands.
Right.
And I'm not being a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. It's just, let's be honest, poor people tend to be more desperate and do desperate things.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, if you want to get a concealed carry permit in the state of Florida, you have to go pay $90 to take like an hour or 2, 3 hour long class.
Do you fire the weapon in that class?
You go down to the shooting range, you put 2 rounds downrange. You don't have to hit your target. They just have to see you fire a weapon safely.
Hold the gun in the proper manner.
Which I think that concerns the hell out of me. In our local gun store here in the Cape, someone accidentally discharged his firearm in the store on Thursday, even though they say do not take your gun out of your holster if you have a concealed carry unless you're in the gun range. And he didn't listen. He pulled his gun out, and because he's not an experienced user, because the concealed carry permit class is so easy to get. So basically, and back to my point, I mean, we can do a whole other topic another day on, maybe ratcheting up the need for a better concealed carry permit requirements. But
because some of the stuff you're telling me on Friday was blowing my mind, man.
But it's literally designed to keep poor people from having guns legally. And so when you go down to the county agricultural department,
right.
First thing they ask you when they bring back how are you paying for this today?
Mm-hmm.
Very first thing.
Okay.
Once you say debit, cash, or credit, then they say, okay, do you have the paper showing you took the class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you sit down, you fill out some paperwork. Are you from another? Do you have citizenship in any other countries? Right. Are you here working for another government? Basically making sure you're not a spy. But because if you're a spy, you're going to answer yes on all this crap.
Yeah, sure.
And so you literally fill out the paperwork. They do a background check to take your $175. So now, between the class and this, you're $250 into it, and that's it.
That's all it is.
And now you say, well, $250 ain't a lot of money. It is if you're destitute. It is if you're extremely, it is if your paycheck is only $150, every.
Oh yeah.
Or if you're making, $500 a week, $250, that's half your paycheck.
Yep.
And so it does deter a lot of poor people from getting
the.
But back to your original question, what do you need to have a fully automatic firearm in this country?
Yeah, I thought it was totally illegal.
Depends on the state.
It just depends on the state.
You have to have a clean record and lots of money.
Wow.
And from what I understand is it's really not a whole lot of money, but it is for me and a lot of other people.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that.
It all comes down to money.
In my guesstimate, a lot of people do this illegally. Obviously, then I mean, there's got to be a way of obtaining things in parts and pieces or whatever they got to do to make it, because otherwise it's as fast as you can pull the damn trigger. Correct? Which is semi-automatic. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see if we can hear this thing fire.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
発射時の反動が少なく、連射性にも優れている。
He's talking over it. Oh, that's semi-automatic mode.
錆にも強いため、アイデアで
Where in the hell is this video coming
未来
from?
型ピストルの一
I'm guessing Japan. Why are you showing a fully automatic gun but you're shooting in semi-automatic mode?
Yeah, I want to hear that, baby. Tap, 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 tap.
Oh, that's because it's the G18. That's
セレクター以
why.
外、ブロック17
There it
と
goes.
全く同じ外観を持つブロック
That's the
18。
G18.
Wish the guy would
1秒
shut
間
up.
に20発を連射できる。
I need to find like a,
ショルダーストックは
Yes.
find like a redneck shooting.
Yeah,
in
man, I
backwards.
want
There we go.
non-narration.
Okay, he's loading up a dual drum mag.
round dual drum being
He's got a dual drum mag on it. There
Really?
we go. Oh, he's going semi-automatic. We want fully automatic.
Yeah.
Part of that test.
Hold on. I went too far.
part of our test is a Glock in a registered SBR, and it is installed in a Roni chassis. Test
so
fire.
he has the Glock installed in a device that makes it look like a semi-automatic. A submachine gun. Are you not gonna go full?
Yeah.
Horrible. These people are promising stuff they're not delivering on.
Yo, bait and switch, man.
Here we go.
Oh!
He's shooting 2 liters of Coke.
Damn!
And he's about 15 yards, and he's hitting his target.
So that's actually not.
Oh, he's got a shoulder harness on. He's got a stock on it.
Does he?
That's about as few as you can do, if you can imagine. Every time I squeeze
that's the old guy.
I'm getting 2 or 3 rounds, and that just speaks to the crazy rate of fire you get out of this Glock. Okay, so one last thing. I wanted to show this Glock doing what I think it does best, and that's dealing with a lot of bad guys quickly.
He's going to spray down the whole line. He's hitting them. So that's the rate of fire in your G18.
Wow.
I knew it wasn't the G17, but anyhow.
Still, man, that's a damaged machine right there, man. You can tear some people up with that thing. That's pretty badass, man. I dig it. It's just amazing to me that you know, you're cruising through the store, at the gas station, and you know, there's a Glock G17.
And I couldn't help myself because after one of the shootings, and not to make light of that situation, but an uneducated, ill-informed person posted on social media how she was outraged that you can buy you can buy an AR-15 for $150 at a store.
Mm-hmm.
The reason she's ill-informed is she was not looking at a $150 AR-15. She was looking at a $150 airsoft gun that was designed to look like an AR-15. Wow. Airsoft guns are designed to shoot people with. They shoot little plastic pellets. Mm-hmm. And they're basically like paintball minus the paintballs. And so a lot of kids buy those and they go out to airsoft fields. And so yes, $130 is cheap if you're looking at a true AR-15, but for an airsoft gun, that's about the retail price. And so I couldn't help myself but post on Twitter, I can't believe I found a handgun at the gas station for $4.99, and I had a picture of the Glock sitting on my leg.
Dude, it's just wow.
So what do you got going on now that the big move is almost finally done?
Bro, it's getting back to business. You know what I'm looking forward to is us having a jam, man. I'm looking forward to us, you know, getting, you know, now that this is, you know, this stuff's over with. You know, it's gonna take a while, obviously, to get settled in. You know how it is, man. But I'm looking forward to getting back to jamming, getting a few more songs down, listening to what some of the stuff you've been working on, because I heard you know, hitting the bass the other day, and I'm like, man, he's got some good licks there. I can't wait to really kind of get together and see where this goes, man, because I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it in the long run, man. Me and you personally, I know we're gonna have some fun with it. You know, I hope Haney does as well. I hope to have him come back into the studio. I hope Randy can. I hope we can really get another studio session to where we can get you in there, and you know, let's just kick back, man, and see what happens, man. Because that's when the magic happens, man. Is when the least unexpected thing, you're not going in there with all the pressure and everything. And now that I've been into the Vibe Studios, I'm gonna walk in there this time a lot more relaxed, because you know, the only time, bro, I felt like, oh, you know, everybody's looking at me, man, and I'm going, all right, this is how it goes. This is what I'm due, and this is the lyrics, but I'll tell you, everybody there loved it. They were jamming to it, everybody. So I was pretty stoked about that. And I will say, I want to thank all my Latino friends and listeners that are really digging the song. Man, I've been getting a lot of friend requests, I guess you could say, and a lot of, you know, really dig it. You know, that's a great jam, and so I'm pretty stoked with that. And if I'm not mistaken, I was talking to a neighbor of mine, and El Camino means the way.
I have no idea.
Well,
I know what an El Ranchero is, but
what do you?
A Ranchero is I forget who made those. That's Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ford Ranchero.
But anyhow,
all right.
That is the return to our show. You know, now that we're getting our show back on course, I guess.
Damn right, dude.
It's time we need to come up with a format.
Yeah, we got to start having some other things.
Yeah, we need to start actually having topics and segments.
Yeah, I know. We need to come up with
two
something.
a-holes in a room just rambling on for an hour and a half. Probably won't maintain a lot of listeners.
No, but bro, look at our lives. Look at what's been going on. So you know, it's taken time, in my opinion, to kind of build up a little bit, to get the idea of where we're wanting to go and what we're gonna do. So
the audio for the show has not sound better. It's basically sounding really good. I think the microphones had a break-in period. I think all the sound paneling. So we have decent audio and good recording. Now we just got to work on our content.
Yep.
With that being said, a little update. We finally, this show will be the first show of the Waterman and D-Train show to get posted on the new podcast platform that will tell us how many people are listening. And so we will know for a fact that there are, in fact, 5 of you listening. And we want to thank the OG 5 once again for listening.
Yeah.
And we will let you know once we get more than 5 listeners.
Absolutely, man. I'm going to be interested in seeing what those numbers are, man. And let me ask you: are you able? So you'll be able to access that yourselves? I mean, this is
I can tell you right now.
Something.
Well, I can't tell you right now. It's not posted.
No.
But yeah, I could tell you. Like if this was next week, if we're in the future, I could pull it up right now and tell you how many people.
Well, good deal, man.
How we only have 4 listeners instead of 5. Then we're gonna have to change the whole icon to OG4. And pretend like the OG5 thing never happened and be embarrassed, but it is what it is.
No, it's going to be the OG millions.
So we'll work on some formatting. We'll work on some segments. We'll work on getting people actually to call in when we ask them to. But, you know, when it's Sunday and your 5 listeners are all watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, when your 5 listeners... Wow, I can't even talk. When your 5 listeners are all currently watching The Walking Dead, they're not going to call your ass.
Hell no.
So maybe when we get up to 100 listeners, one of them will call us. But then again, we don't always do this on a Sunday.
Exactly.
I was with someone at the emergency room for 4 hours yesterday, so we couldn't record. They are fine. Everything's good in the hood.
Yeah.
But that's what happened with that. What happened with our background music, I have no idea. But anyhow...
Hey, it's the technology, man.
We're going to bring this to a close anyhow.
Sir.
So, for right now, you can find more of our past episodes if for some reason you found this on your boyfriend's phone or whatever. Obviously, if you found this one, you know where the other ones are. But if you don't know where the other ones are, the easiest way to find us is at stanandhaney.com/woo. You can click on the icon. You can also go to d-410.com if you don't want to go type a whole bunch of stuff. If you don't know what a hyphen is, just go to Stan Haney. I'm not going to spend 10 minutes explaining what a hyphen is.
No.
I guess you can call it a dash. d-410.com. I mean, if you refer to your computer tower as a modem, you're probably going to refer to it as a dash. So go to d-410.com and click on the Waterman and D-Train show. Sorry, that's just some computer man angst, frustration coming out of me.
Yeah, bro. You need a good weekend of partying, man.
That is next weekend. Next weekend I will be up in Lakeland, Florida for Sun and Fun 19.
Right.
For those of you who follow me over here from What's the Scuttlebutt podcast, we've talked about the Lakeland Fly-In. It's an air show equivalent to a car show. It's pretty cool because people fly their personal planes in, their Cessnas, their whatevers. And they
P-51 Mustang.
They throw their tents down right underneath their wing. They camp out. So it's kind of like a weekend-long car show, but for pilots.
Really?
And then it's an air show on top of that. And so
that's bitchin', man.
We will have our World War II bivouac set up. This is one of the few events that I get to break out my Marine Corps uniform.
Very cool.
So we're doing this as a shakedown because we have a couple of new Marine Corps guys. Because we're getting ready for the big event we're doing in November for the 75th anniversary of the Tarawa landings.
Wow.
And so we're making sure everybody's gear is put together. And this is going to be a great weekend for me because it'll be my first day off in over a month. And a friend of mine, Don Dickey, he is huge down here in Florida in the reenacting community. He does everything, Civil War, Spanish American, anyhow. He's also a photographer. And because he knows the hobby so well and he knows the details so well, he takes fantastic photos. He's the one that takes a lot of the photos you see on the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast. And so we're essentially doing a miniature photo shoot.
Very cool.
So not only am I doing my Marine Corps impression, I also got to take my 82nd Airborne impression.
Damn, dude.
And I got to take my Army HBT pants shirt and M41 jacket because we are going to do a photo shoot with some of the planes that morning, and the guys who do the Florida Flyboys who wear the pilot uniforms, they're going to do a photo shoot, and so I'm going to be there in my HBTs doing ground crew, the guy who's working on the planes, and so we're going to have a couple of us, and so we're going to do photos with that, photos in the Marine Corps stuff, and photos with the 82nd Airborne uniforms in the planes.
That is very cool.
And so
man.
not only is this a living history event, it's kind of a photo shoot so I can get some new photos to annoy people with.
Well, I can also, test out all the new uniforms and the stuff I've seen you working on in your garage, man. So I'm pretty stoked for you, man.
Yeah, I've been sewing like an old seamstress for the last week. You just saw the last. You saw me sewing the Tech Sergeant chevron on my wool shirt, but before you do the wool shirt, you had to do the jacket. So I had to put it on the jacket. And the funny thing is I busted myself down from lieutenant for one reason. Over your shoulder, there is a garrison cap.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know anything about World War II, just think McDonald's 1960 paper hat or what they wear at Waffle House. You'll see there's a patch of a parachute on there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And you'll see it has blue piping.
Yeah.
Now, when you're a lieutenant, like I usually am, you got to wear this one over here that has the black and gold piping.
Okay.
And I got tired of sewing that parachute on that garrison cap. And I had 2 garrison caps. I wanted to wear that one, so I intentionally busted myself down a few ranks so that I could wear the infantry garrison cap with the piping and the parachute with my airborne uniform.
Huh.
So in order to wear that hat, I had to bust myself down some ranks so that I can actually wear the hat. So I didn't have to, 1, I could use the hat that I paid for, and 2, I don't have to sew the parachute onto the other hat and then cut it off when I do my first ID, and then sew it back on when I do 82nd, and then cut it off when I do first ID. So by having 2 different ranks and 2 different uniforms, I can utilize all my equipment. And then that garrison cap, the brown one, that is an original Marine Corps garrison cap from 1943.
Right.
And then that green one up there is an HBT Marine Corps garrison cap. Well, they actually called them piss cutters because of the shape. They said it would cut your piss. But that's a reproduction, but those are made from the HBT uniforms, and those were bought while the guys were in Melbourne and in New Zealand. They would pay local tailors to make those because theirs were wool, and you don't want to wear wool in the tropics. And so
hell no, man.
To meet uniform standards and still not sweat their ass off, they would personally go out and buy the cotton ones.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Because even the khaki ones were hot too.
Well, hey, brother. I think.
So next weekend I will be out of town finally, and that's that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yep. I don't know what I got planned yet. As you know, my life is. God knows what happens day to day and hour to hour. So, but yeah, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tuning in. The downloads. Once again, you can find us on StandingHandy.com. The Waterman and D Train Show. Thank you, everybody. Give us a like. Get some downloads. Once again, everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week. Woo!